Why is Stranger Things so entertaining?
Okay, side note, I'm going to be talking about volume 1 of season 4.
I mean, after I watched season 4, I had like this feeling. It almost felt like I was like missing something. I think it kind of has to do with me not having a girlfriend because, like, low key, that show has a lot of love in it. Most of season 4, Joyce was just trying to find Hopper. And then you have Murray that came along, which secretly was in love with Joyce and is also the sex goddess.
Because in previous seasons, he got Natalie and Jonathan together, and also Joyce and Hopper.
Plus, I do think Joyce will probably end up with Murray. And then there's Will, which oddly enough isn't talking that much this season because I think he's struggling with his sexuality.
Steve is definitely going to get back with Natalie if he even survives this season. Even Argyle found someone.
Definitely there's a trend this season where anything bad happens, love and friendship can bring them out of it. I mean, the reason why Elle was able to defeat Vecna, create the portal, was because of the love she felt for her mother when she was being taken away from her. I think episode 4, where Max was about to die to Vecna, was my favorite episode. Her writing all that letters kind of made us think that she really was going to die. I would also like to mention, I love how they put Dustin in that scene because Dustin actually had some love connection with her too, so I thought that was good. I think there was a really good scene where she was talking to Lucas before she talked to her brother at the graveyard. She had very limited time and she needed to talk to her brother. But it almost felt like she didn't even love Lucas anymore, or never did love Lucas. It makes you question. It's like, will she actually make it outside of the Upside Down if she never did love Lucas?
She also has to deal with whether or not she loved Billy, because up until he died, they never had a good relationship.
I think something interesting at the beginning with Dusty and Susan was that Susie broke her trust with God and changing Dustin's grade. And I think that's something Vecna stands against.
I really enjoyed Vecna being the villain this season. And before I get into why, how the fuck did I not figure out that Victor's son was Vecna? There was no scene of him getting tormented by a demon when Victor was explaining his story to Natalie and Robin. You know what? I give myself the pass. But how did I not figure out that he was that creepy dude in the hospital? They showed him way too much for him not to be important, and I don't know what else that character could have turned out to be.
I don't think Vecna ever wanted a family. I mean, he was the very thing that was unnatural with life. He didn't understand how people can do bad things and still go back to a normal life. Maybe he felt like everyone was pretending. As he said, he felt like everyone was just living in a sick play. I think Papa made him feel more like he would never be able to live a normal life. Where the more power he felt, the more he felt maybe secluded from the world. I think when Vecna is killing his victims, he says to join him. And I think he committed something, killing his family. He can't ever come back from that. Maybe he feels like the other people also can't come back from the things that they did. In terms of Chrissy, I think he just wanted to end her suffering with trying to be perfect in this world, because with his ability to look into other people's minds, definitely caused him to understand how stupid trying to be perfect in society and trying to fit in and play that he says. Maybe he relates to Chrissy in some way. Max said that it felt like she was in his mind when she walked in the mist and was around all of the floating bits of his house. Maybe living that perfect life in that big house was just too much for him. But the point I'm trying to make is that the villain, he stands against love. I think his mom outed him for not being normal. I think the reason why he has all this hatred is coming from his dad, and seeing how maybe his mom can treat him so poorly and act like there's something so wrong with him, but love his dad so much, who committed the wrong in killing that family. There's definitely a theme in this season about being a freak. I mean, there's Max feeling like she can't be with Lucas anymore and she's a freak. Lucas not wanting to be a freak anymore. And then, of course, there's Elle, who's getting bullied.
In previous seasons, Elle was saved by Mike
because she found something that she cared about and something that she loved.
The friendship that Dustin has with Eddie is going to get Eddie out of his tough situation. Obviously, the captain of the basketball team wants to avenge Chrissy's death. And he knows that Eddie is a freak, which only fuels him more to take down Eddie because he deems that wrong with society. Which is similar to what Vecna's mother thought, because she thought that Vecna was a freak. Most of the good things that the main characters do,
like Joyce going to find Hopper, was such a selfish act it ended up getting her trapped. I think the reason why Max was able to survive Vecna is because she knew that that Lucas loved her so much.
And Elle has to go through all of this trauma just to save all the ones she loves. Elle and Vecna's relationship was interesting because Elle was the first person he felt like he can be friends with, but he ended up using her for selfish reasons, which caused her to put him in the Upside Down.
I think this is similar to Elle trying to impress Mike in saying that she's friends with the girls that she hated, because Mike never wanted that. She thought Mike would wanted that, but it ended up causing Mike some stress. Hopper said that he has a kid knowing the risks that she could die, and she did die, possibly because of the chemicals he was exposed to.
When Hopper was in the prison, he said that Joyce and the family never needed him. He needed them. But the fact of the matter is, he risked himself and put his life on the line for them. So why do I think Stranger Things is so good? Because the characters have to overcome their demons and give selfless love to defeat Vecna, which he stands against love because he was outcasted as a freak and able to see all of the horrible things people have done and how after they just continued to live their life normally.